Hi everybody, it's Thea and welcome back to Garden Goddess Tarot and the monthly recap, albeit a few days late, but that's okay, I've been busy. How are you doing? How is your Gemini season and how is the first decan of Cancer treating you? I think we're well into the second actually at this point, so anywho, that's okay. That's neither here nor there. Oh. Shove this coffee into my body. Anyway, I hope my point is, I hope you're well. And I hope you're ready for a little chat about what's been going on in the crazy mixed up world that is the land of Garden Goddess Tarot. Anyways, so yeah, these videos I just kind of break down my practice, what's been going on with me personally, decks I've been using, rambles, chats, it's a fun time. So without too much of a preamble, we will get right into it. Last month was like peak late spring, early summer, right? We had the solstice. The days got as long as they were gonna get, and now we're receding back into the darkness slowly, which is nice welcome break actually. It's a beautiful moment. The solstice kind of features heavily in my framework temporally of the year, so it's the height of like max energy, and now we can like slowly wind our way down. So right around when the solstice ended, Candy and I just finished our 7-week-long video extravaganza that was the Garden Arcana series, and it was amazing. I loved every one of those videos. I loved making them. It was a beautiful deep dive into the intricacies of the major arcana cards in the tarot through the lens of the garden, seeing tarot in real life in that space. And it was wonderful, and the fact that I got to do it alongside Candy was just a treat and a joy, and I'm so sad it's over. But the garden has not minded. It's been doing great. It's still going. It's growing strong. It's been rainy and humid here, so the plants are just having the best time. So are the weeds, but weeds are just plants that we don't like as much, so I'm embracing them a little bit more than I usually otherwise would. So that's I'm growing. I am growing too, just like the plants. So yeah, the Garden Arcana series was a major part, and I will link the playlist to it down below if you haven't seen either. There's 14 videos there. There's a substantial amount of wonderful content, so check it out if you're at all interested in tarot, gardening, tarot in real life, or just want to hear me ramble for hours. Another relatively exciting big news type of moment happened when the collaboration between Crystal Haven UK, the amazing luxury tarot bag creator, and myself, we got together and made an entire series of tarot bags to go alongside the Hellenic Oracle. So I'm so absolutely blown away by how amazing they turned out. I've been using the heck out of them. Like only the best decks got the pleasure of being homed within them, and Louise was just amazing. And so they're up on our Etsy shop and should be for the foreseeable future. Check them out if you're at all interested. They make a gorgeous pair for the Hellenic Oracle or any deck that you want to make a special little home for. There's a video where I go into the detail about the symbolism behind all of the artwork on them as well, and how it links to tarot and the Hellenic Oracle in general. So it's oh look, hey, it's me. Yeah, no, they're a great pair, and I'm just so thankful for Louise for reaching out and suggesting the genius idea that was the collaboration, and I couldn't be more pleased with how they turned out. They're just a joy and a treasure and a jewel. I also was a busy little bee and launched channel memberships this month too. It just, like I said, it was a busy one. And I committed myself to a mountain of video creation going forward, but actually I've been loving the heck out of it. Doing readings for people is one of my favorite things to do in the whole world. And having this private member space to be able to offer more personal readings specifically for those that want individual ones, as well as just sign related ones, has been just so much fun. And so there's already 4 month ahead readings for Cancer season up right now on the member space for the first tier of entry. So if you want to, it's $3 Canadian a month. You can have a monthly, right now it's about 20-25 minute long reading, just kind of a month ahead sort of weather vane for you if you want. So that's there as well. There's another tier where you get a little bit deeper into my personal practice, and I did a solstice related ritual, I guess, there, and it's there to be checked out as well if you want. And then there's some card work coming shortly as well for this month. We're going to work specifically with a deity and do some guided tarot spreads for that. So there's going to be a unique tarot spread each month for the second tier, and then the third tier is just all of that other stuff plus a personal reading for me each month. So check it out if you're interested in being a part of the secret member community. There's a private Discord link as well that we all get to participate in, just a kind of behind the scenes space to talk a little bit more deeply, or, you know, converse, ask questions, things that you might not want to like spew right out publicly on the internet. So it's fun, it's great. I've been learning a lot from you guys, the ones that have joined, as well as the opportunity to share what I know is a great and wonderful thing. So check it out if you want. No pressure, obviously. Things on the main channel aren't going to change, but there's an intro video talking all about it too if you want to watch, if you haven't already. And no big deal, it's there if you want. But that's been something that's been keeping me quite busy this month, and I've just been absolutely loving every second of it. They're so fun, so much fun. So yes, just an opportunity for me to do readings for other people is kind of what spawned that offshoot. Also, though, there was another psychic fair this last month too, so I was out in public doing readings, personal, like little mini readings in a psychic fair setting, and it was so much fun. It's busy. It's definitely, it's worlds different than like quiet interpersonal ones. It's a little bit more high speed. It's a little bit more, I don't know, they're magical. They really are. The stuff that comes out in them are just incredible. And I had a really pretty substantial experience that day myself, in chatting with another reader that I just met, and it was pretty earth-shaking actually. I went into it in more detail in the member community as well in the Discord. It involves a new deity. I'm not gonna go into too much detail about it right now, but it was one of those moments that just kind of like rocked your world a little bit, and like just affirmed everything that you've been doing in like the most beautiful way, in a like, how could they possibly know? Like something so personal sort of way. Anyway, it was incredible. It was really good. And I've just, one of those ones where like the signs have just been like coming and coming and coming and coming, and like they won't stop. It's crazy. So, you know, things are trucking along great, and yeah, it's been quite wonderful. So I might go into more detail later, but like it's early days, so like any relationship, right? You want to keep it, you don't want to jinx it, right? We're just exploring each other right now, and it's fun. But yeah, so that, and other than that, with the personal practice related stuff, there was the solstice stuff, and flower essences being peak flower season have been keeping me quite busy as well. Some of the ones that I've made right now that I've just been absolutely loving, my crab apple essence, very, very special. Yeah, when I first got the gist of flower essences, I understood their benefits, but then when I added that extra layer of my own personal associations and personal practice, they just became so much more than I thought they could be. I've got a violet essence is the next one, and then my new moon baby olive one. Yeah, so these three have been amazing and great. I really quite love that they exist, and that I get to interact with those energies of those plants throughout the year, and not just when they're blooming and at peak. So that's very exciting. And then the Persephone's Path one that I purchased from her, Yew Tree Beltane essence. This one I've not been able to put down. This one is my buddy. It's my homeboy. It's my good time boy. Anywho, it feels the most right of all of them. So I've just been having a wonderful time working with essences, crafting them, coming up with blends and combos that are really specific to me. Because when you first start getting into essences, especially with the botch, I've heard it. Have I been pronouncing it wrong this whole time? I mean, those system of essences, they've got their system, and that's kind of, you work kind of within the confines of that. But when you start throwing in your own personal associations and blends and mixes and your own personal mythology, right? The way you experience the energies, planetary energies of the plants, mythological energies of how the plant is used throughout history and all that stuff. You can add so much more and it becomes this like a little story in a bottle that you can experience like viscerally. It's so wonderful. So anywho, flower essences, amazing. So good. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10 if you're a flower girly. Sorry for the frame change there. The battery died and I don't know why I do this to myself. I should know better. But anyway, let's get into decks. Let's talk about the decks I've been using this last month. I wish I could say it was really exciting and different. However, the deck that still, hands down, got the most airtime in my hands. The Encore Tarot. I have not been able to stop using it. It's like, it's refreshing in a way that I didn't know I needed. And it's such a fun summer deck. This is a Chiro deck, and I think last month I talked about it extensively. But I've just been having an absolute love affair with Chiro Marchetti decks. They're just everything. Yeah, this is the French edition, which I'm pretty sure I still saw you can get mass market if you look hard enough. But it feels very indie still in its own little way. I've just been using the bananas out of it for my like daily 3 card. They're so clear. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know what took me so long to come around to these, but what can I say? So that deck is still, like, I want it at reach at all times. And its brother, it has a brother now. Another brother. The Chiro family is growing. I did pick up Tarot Grand Lux pretty quickly after that one. This is a US Games deck, so it's a different kind of production quality wise. It's, what year? 2019. So this one isn't actually that old. But it still distinctly feels like it's their own little world. These decks all exist in this fantasy land that is Chiro decks. So it's this one, I think I've decided I've edged it in black as well. Backs look like this. Very excellent. This one's a Read for Other People deck. This one came to the Psychic Fair with me. I'm thinking the Encore Tarot is going to be a Just Me one. I don't think it wants to read for others, but this one does. This one's very other people-y. So it came out. People, I let kind of the Aquarians choose. I brought a bunch of decks and let them kind of feel for which one they wanted to use, and this one got chosen a lot. So there is something universally appealing about it. So it got a lot of play. Again, super easy to read, just as easy to read. And I've coated it in, what did I choose? Was it juniper? Juniper essential oil. It is covered in it. So it smells so good. Every time I open the box, I'm like, it's a whole sensory experience, this one. So the Tarot Grand Lux, another winner. And I love having at the ready. And this one definitely is a grab and go, loves to read for other people type of deck. So that one I've been having a great time with. Mystic Palette 2, the first one, the one that started it all. I've used a bit, but really not as much. The Encore wins like every single time. So that's been fun. At the Psychic Fair, I also brought with me, because I wanted to make myself like it more. We talked about this last month as well. In the, or not last month, but in the decks I don't use very much video, that's the one. The Revival Art 2nd edition deck. I've had it for ages. It kind of sat on the shelf for a while because I wasn't as connected to it as I could have been. It came to me at a weird time, even though I thought it was the right time, but it wasn't quite. So I busted it out this month, and I've been using it alongside the Hellenic Oracle, among other art decks, and it's been doing really well. It also came to the Psychic Fair, and a lot of people picked this one too. So between this one and the Tarot Grand Lux, there was a nice like very fantasy, very like really like the spreads took you to a place. They were very much their own separate moods, but very distinctive moods in their own right. So it really sets the tone. This one has that air of luxury, grandeur, idealized human life. Of course, 5 of coins comes up, but like it's opulent, right? It's lush, idealistic in a extremely it's fantasy type of way. It's a fantasy deck for me for sure. Yeah, it's beautiful. It is beautiful, and I think I've figured out how I like to interact with it, especially, and it works well for other people, definitely. I just if I'm in a headspace that's really mercurial and really like thinky, logic-y, this deck is that's when I don't like it. And I was doing the deck and walk, and I was really like hunkering down in my like Hermetic Golden Dawn tarot brain, and I can't use this when I'm in that kind of brain because this is too soft and fluffy. This is too stripped back of all of that nonsense. Like, it's there, it's in it because it's still a tarot deck, right? And if I want it to be in it, it can be in it, but it's harder to get there and it's more work. So if I just kind of settle that stuff aside, put it on a shelf in my brain, we'll open that cabinet later, you know, and just kind of experience it more emotionally, more viscerally, or in that fantasy type of way, and let the deck take me a little bit more than trying to worry about what Hebrew letter that major arcana card is, or what Sephiroth that is. Like it's like, or you know, the Decan or the astrological associations. If I just kind of settle that aside for 5 seconds and think about just the energy of the image in the card, and then read it as a surface reader, it's great. And it's beautiful. And they make one heck of a stunning spread on the table next to the Hellenic Oracle. That being said, also, I usually posit this with the disclaimer that my usuals always get used. RWS never fails, is always somewhere close by. Thoth as well is usually not far. The Hellenic Oracle, the the Kim Krantz Alchemy Oracle, I still use that a ton. It's on my altar all the time. Same with the Devas of Creation by Scylla Conway. Those ones I pull like daily as a daily draw, and they never change. So there's really no sense in talking about them, but they're there. I think I've also decided to incorporate the Oracle of the Radiant Sun into the Alchemy Oracle kind of situation, and it works really well. Like one of those on either side, like 1, 2, and then the hexagon in the middle works great. It's wonderful. So having a great time with those. Okay, and then just these two. Okay, yeah, that's kind of, there's been some I've picked up for once or twice, kind of odds and ends, but I think that doesn't really count. They don't really, unless I get myself into the habit of wanting to use them, I don't really feel the need to give you the laundry list of the decks that I've used in an entire month, because that's not useful. Yeah, like for example, the Margaret Peterson I used a couple times and it was great and really beautiful, but I don't know if it feels like it needs to be spotlighted, you know? But that one is a pretty incredible deck also. Ooh, and with the Revival Art tarot deck by Taroko Studios, who makes that one. Sorry if I forget information. My brain is still like, it's too full. I need a holiday. And actually, it's kind of funny. My oracle cards this morning were strongly pointing me in the direction of like rest and like literally like to literally escape and take a holiday. It was really clear. It was kind of like them screaming at me, could we be any more clear than this? So yeah, I need a little break, so I might take one soon, but not right now. Right now we're gonna talk about some decks. This one is entirely BB's fault from Pure Red Velvet. She has incredible deck taste, and I thought it would go really well with the Revival Art tarot, which it does. It's the Influence of Angels tarot, and this deck is what I wanted the Touchstone tarot to be. I rehomed the Touchstones tarot a while ago because I liked it, but it just felt too clunky for me, I think. There was something not as refined about it, and I don't know what it was about the collage style, just it wasn't as good as the Golden Tarot, which is great. And I think there is actually a new edition of that one that's linen that TOS Games released as well. Anyway, this one, the Influence of the Angels Tarot, I'm not really an angel girly, as I'm sure you might know. But I'm open. I'm open to new ideas, and the art style of this got me curious. This is also on, I think, the US Games' new linen cardstock. Backs are stunning. Shiny gold. Is production quality top notch. And it actually, I feel like it's not the shitty US Games cardstock, like that waxy awful stuff that like the Pastoral Tarot and the Centennial are on. So no. Anyway, I love this. It makes a beautiful surface reader. It's got very an array of medieval, a bit of Renaissance. Like the art style is a bit of a spread. It has a lot of similarities. There's that William Blake painting with the Noisy Museum Tarot that I talked about before too, and I think they would also go really well together. But this with the revival art or any of those like classic historic art decks. I like the chunky borders. I think they make a statement. And there is on the majors a reference to a specific angel that you can look up in the guidebook, which I haven't been doing because I'm not there yet. But if I want to, it is there. And it comes with a couple extra numerology card meanings. And then there's a card specifically for suit meanings. So you can get a handle on Cups, Swords, Wands, and Pentacles and the numerology, and then once you've cracked that code, you're laughing. You can read anything then. I just a strong understanding of the majors. So with that information, and then you're good to go and you can build from there. That's if you want my advice, the quickest way to learn tarot, get your elements down, element associations, and then your numerology, and then know the elements of the core cards, and you can read anything. That's kind of like the core basis, and then you can throw your mythology or astrology, everything else on top of that, and then like the regular symbolism in it. But like if you've got just that bone structure of tarot knowledge, it will probably solve a lot of the problems that you may have in future. So crash course on how to learn tarot from me. You're welcome. Anyway, what was I talking about? The angel associations on the majors. So yeah, let's find one. The world. Let's look at the world. Who's on the world card? There she is. Perpetual? Ooh, that's a word that might be hard to say. The angel of success helps us follow our hopes and dreams and accomplish our goals. Yeah, other than the archangels and a few other ones, I'm not too familiar with the whole family or how the system works, or if there's a certain number of them or if there's an infinite number of them and all that jazz. So I got a lot to learn about angel energy specifically, but I'm curious. But just aesthetically though, this deck is gorgeous, and it's a vibe, is a mood, has some of my favorite paintings in it, and really any tarot deck with paintings on it will have my attention for at least a healthy amount of time. Yeah, super cool. So yeah, that's the influence of the Angels Tarot. Well, who's it by? That'd be a good thing to say. Jody Boginski Barbesi, which I'm assuming is Italian. So I'm curious to see how she goes. Whether she'll be like a sometimes tarot or will want to be pulled out all the time. I'm thinking more of a sometimes kind of tarot, like a sidekick kind of deck, as opposed to being a main character. I wonder if that would be an interesting video too, to explore the kind of feeling of like a sidekick deck as opposed to a main character deck. Very curious. But anyway, this one fits, I feel like, strongly in that sidekick space. And then the Rain Shadow Tarot came this month. I've only had it for a week or so at this point, not super long. I did the first impressions when it first arrived for you guys on YouTube, which is weird. I'm still getting the hang of doing walkthroughs. I don't know if it's something I'm going to like feature heavily all the time, because I don't want it to be like a heavy specific deck walkthrough kind of channel. But if there's some that I feel like special enough to do one for, I will. And this one did, because I've been waiting for it for a long time. It's beautiful. It goes really well with Claire Mack's other decks. This is by Claire Mack. It was a Kickstarter. I think soon she's gonna have them up on her YouTube channel too. But I've been using it for daily draws, and it's been it's been good. It's nothing, it's again, nothing super deep, I think. But it does feel of the place, which is an energy I like to tap into a lot of the time. Yeah, it's gritty nature, I think, in a abstract art kind of way, as opposed to a lot of nature decks are really clean, which is weird because when you go outside, it's not a clean place. It's gritty. There's a certain amount of filth and grime and like death and decay that a lot of nature-based decks kind of don't take into account. Like there's all of the beauty that grows on the surface. There's the changing of the seasons and the, you know, the sparkly bits on top, but you really gotta pay attention to the raw, the danger, the death, and the gritty dirtiness of nature. And I think this deck really, yeah, it captures that energy quite well. It feels more like how I experience nature, and like in a really abstract way also. So yeah, I've been really liking it so far. I don't have anything like too crazy profound to say about it just yet. Like it hasn't rocked my world yet, but give it time. It's only been here a week. So it's been a joy. I've been loving it, and it felt like it's one of those ones that feels like it was always here. It's like, oh, you just stepped up for a bit. Welcome back. Like, I don't know. It's a weird feeling, but it's like it's always been here. It fits within its little deck family, and yeah, I don't have to think twice when I use it. It's just like, oh yeah, hi, old friend, coming to greet me again. And the last deck I wanted to talk about a little bit is this one. This is the Kanji Oracle. This is the Lore is a Spin and Ray Diamond Oracle that I got in December. And since Yule, since the winter solstice, I have been pulling a card every week and experiencing that card through the prompts and perspectives in the guidebook, and it's been so good. And so it's been about 6 months now with just having had the solstice a week or so ago. That was the 6 month mark with it. I can't believe I'm halfway through already. Has been the fastest 6 months of my entire life. But anyway, that aside, this deck is beautiful. It aligns really nicely with the weekly cycles of the year. I'm really enjoying having done this. It kind of kills me a little bit because I want to be able to like shuffle in the cards and like draw one in a regular daily tarot spread, or like use it in that way. My brain was just like, buy another one. But no, I only want the one. I want the one and it's special. And I pull the one card and I leave it up on my little window that I look at, and I'll stare at it for a week, and then I'll come to the guidebook sometime within that week when I'm ready to experience that information. Feel the card, feel the message, which is usually lands pretty good. Yeah, I've had a couple of weeks that were really something else, but it worked. Like there's so much thought I think that went into this that one may not even notice unless you were to go through it in this kind of yearly way. It's really is a beautiful deck. And the cardstock, it's a circle, which I'm not going to shuffle it because I have it kind of in order. The cards I've been through already are at the back. So this half I've already done, and then these are the ones yet to come. And it's not in order, but they're just kind of like generally in clumps, but so I don't want to mix them together. But the cardstock is thin, and it has been like warping a bit when I put the card out in the sun. The ones I've used are a little bit more warped than the bottom ones. The backs are getting discolored for being out in the sun, but I kind of love that about it. Like, I want this deck to get dirty. I want this deck to experience the elements and like feel like it's been in the world, and it's wonderful. So I've been really enjoying the walk through this Oracle deck and experiencing all of the messages and the stories and the opportunities to connect with the world, put myself back in it. As I am a part of it. I am it. It is me. I am it. So it's just like waving at yourself a little bit in a different way. It's like looking in the mirror, but greener, you know? So anywho, that's been so much fun. And another 6 months or so to go, a little bit less than 6 months to go, and then I can start using it in readings more intentionally. But this walk is really good, and a whole different beast from a deck and walk, like a completely different. It's like deck and walk was putting me firmly in my brain, and this is taking me out of my brain, throwing me in my body, and taking that body and putting it outside. So it's a whole different experience, like the concept of tarot through time in one's body instead of one's brain. And I think integrating the deck and walk with something like this is a really grounding thing to do. So it balances out that, like, it puts your feet in the ground, right? Your roots are in, and then you're looking up. It's both, and it makes for a good balance. So keeping kind of both of those energies in the back of your head at the same time is fun and wonderful. So I like that about it. So the Kantaji Oracle, Laura Zuspin, who did the Luminous Void Tarot, and then Ray Diamond was the author of the book, and it's phenomenal and so good. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring that back out because I did promise more talk about this deck, and I've just been like using it happily in the sidelines in the back and haven't really said anything about it. So anyway, that's that one. And the last thing I just want to talk about a little bit is a few of the books that I've been, well, kind of, I haven't really had a whole lot of time to like be reading and sticking my nose in books, but I've started these two and I'm having a great time with them. The first one is A Walk Through the Forest of Souls by Rachel Pollack. The new edition of this did just get released, and I have been waiting for it for so long. I've been trying to find a used copy of the old edition of this, and it's either been like stupid expensive or just impossible to find. But for the last year, they've teased the release of this, and it finally came out. So I snatched it up and I'm reading. I'm only like 30 pages in so far, but I want to take it slow. It's one of those books that I want to savor slowly and indulge in gently instead of like devouring it, you know? So I've got my little Mystic palette card in as a bookmark. Extra cards and tarot decks make the best bookmarks. But it's so bittersweet knowing how recently Rachel passed, but at the same time it's like hearing her words again in a really comforting and friendly sort of way. So yeah, I just love this so much. So that's one that is on my nightstand in my brain at the moment, and they're just like it's not really like a how-to tarot kind of book. It's a almost like a personal gnosis of tarot, a way to kind of experience the cards in her way. It's not an instructional, it's an experiential book. Does that make sense? Yeah, it just gives new perspectives on them. It'll help kind of, there's a lot of references to her Shining Tribe tarot as well, which is nice, which I did recently. Not recently, but I did acquire a little bit ago, and it'll just kind of help clarify her motivations behind those cards out of in even more detail. So yeah, very good. I love, like, she brings in the mythologies, she brings in all of the places where her tarot knowledge was formed and jumped off of, so that adds more context to even all the other ways that she taught tarot. So yeah, and it's entertaining. It's story. It's tarot as story. So yeah, really, really beautiful. So anyway, that one. And then this one is called Trance-Portation, Learning to Navigate the Inner World. This one is a recommendation from someone on Instagram who I follow, who has no idea I exist or who I am. But she was doing a little book recommendations, and for some reason this one caught my eye, and I've been liking it. This is like a practical how-to book. This is like a little course, a little lesson in book form. And I've been going in, I've been making notes already down the sides. So I'm treating it like it is like a little course, and coming to it, reading a chapter, and kind of I'm gonna work my way through it like it's a little workbook. I don't know, I want to get a little bit better at intentionally choosing when certain states land upon me, my brain. Figuring out a way to, like, beyond just regular meditation, but like actively trying to get myself to a state such as this. So this one should help with that, I hope. I'll let you know when I finish reading it. I'll give you an actual review. But as for right now, I'm only like a little ways in. So anywho, that's that one. And that, my friends, that's what I've been up to this month. Been a little bit of the same and a little bit of different, which is nice. I like to, you know, not completely refresh everything each month, because then it feels a little bit like I'm just, you know, a wheel on a cart rolling forward for no reason. We're just like hanging on a little bit to what I was doing last month, but like slowly evolving over time. So it's been great. It's been so much fun. And like I said, there have been a few big leaps this month. Like, you know, with the member space, in the Garden of the Goddess space is new territory for me, for sure. And it's just gorgeous. It's like a little pastoral landscape full of wonderful people, great ideas, myth and story and plants and gardening. It's just wonderful. So I've been really enjoying that and look forward to kind of taking that wherever it's going to go. But you know, otherwise, just within my personal practice, getting to know myself in the context of other things a little bit more, like coming outside of myself a little bit, instead of just like that individualistic I that years and years I was so focused on, right? I thought that my internal experience was only mine, so I'm alone, and this is a lonely experience, and it was all like the self was just singular and solitary and isolated, but now I've kind of come around to stepping out of that singularity-ness, putting myself, bits of myself in the world, seeing bits of myself in the world, in other people, in the land, in nature, in the weather, in like everything. It's like I've taken the time to work on that solitary, lonely I. But now it's got to a point where it's like growing out of me. And it's everywhere, and I can see it and feel it, and it's really great. But like I said, it's earth-shattering. I feel like it's taken a lot of work to get me to this point, and it's very scary. So just know I'm in uncharted territory also. So that's kind of where I'm at with stuff right now, and I'm in the like honeymoon phase where like eyes sparkly, everything is beautiful, but I'm sure there will be some cataclysmic event, as what usually happens when things start to go too well. But we'll see. I'll keep you posted for sure. But thank you. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you're interested at all in readings from me, there is a link where you can book one specifically, or you can join the member community for access to readings at a very discounted rate. But otherwise, I just appreciate that you're here. No obligation for anything. Just come, hang out, talk tarot, life, the universe, and everything. And yeah, just know I appreciate you all with my whole heart. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see all you fine people in my next video.